Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Preserving History and Democracy. My name is Cynthia Mendoza, Communications Coordinator for the Doñana County Clerk's Office. I am once again joined by our amazing producer, Bernardine Caporal. I say that every time, but you are incredible, so welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I feel welcome.
Yeah, so we are kind of doing something we do at the end of every season, I think, a season recap. So we want to talk about all these amazing episodes and guests that we had. So,
we had a great season.
yes, you killed it once again. I tell you every time, you kill it. You're always worried at the beginning of a season.
Always worried.
How am I going to do this? Who am I going to bring on? What are we going to talk about? And then you always end up just killing it.
I'm so grateful for our guests who support our podcast. I really am.
Yeah, I mean, I think this podcast has gone from just a little podcast to now it seems like so many people listen to it. People talk to other people about it, which is how we've gotten so many guests as well.
Right,
so
right.
It's pretty great.
It's growing.
I know, and it's just going to grow even more. I'm excited for season 6.
Oh, I can't wait.
But I guess for now we'll talk about season 5. The first episode was the countdown to the vote. That one was with me and Caroline, and we kind of just went over some important updates on the election. I believe this was back in August, so it was before filing day, and we kind of just talked about the important dates that were coming up for the election. So we kind of just talked on some of those topics, which was great. I think it's great to inform the public as much as possible.
Right.
People need to know, and I think it showed for the turnout. So
there's so much support here for elections.
Yeah.
I mean, our clerk really wants people to vote.
Yeah, and so does Caroline. Caroline is very she wants us to communicate with the public as much as possible. So I think that's what we do with this podcast. We do with our social media, our press releases. We really just try to over communicate almost with our public because we want people to be involved. We want to be as transparent as possible.
Right, exactly.
Alrighty, so episode 2 was the Election Assistance Commission episode, and that one was with our county clerk, Amanda López Askin, and Janice Giron, which is our election supervisor, and they talked to guest Donald Palmer, and he is with the Election Assistance Commission, which does some incredible things for our elections here in the United States. They kind of talked about the significance of the Help America Vote Act and how it shaped modern election practices.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was great getting to hear from somebody who is so involved with elections here in the United States and just like everything that they do. They do a lot of incredible stuff. So it was amazing to hear all the support that they do. Yeah. And so that was a great episode. I think Amanda just has so much knowledge on elections, and so does Janice. Janice has been working in elections for so long. I want to say like 12 years now. I've learned so much from her in my time being here, and I didn't know elections were so complex until I started working here.
They really are.
So it was great hearing from Donald Palmer and everything that he does and how he supports our office. He said on election day he'll travel to different places.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty cool. Places all across the country. So that was great to hear that he does so much.
12-hour day turned into 48 hours,
exactly.
I bet, for him.
We told him to come visit our county someday, so hopefully he gets to come by someday. That'd be awesome.
Right.
He was a great guest, and we'll show a clip of that episode here.
The Help America Vote Act really was a significant change for the election community because we already talked about the voting systems, but those voter registration systems were also they really didn't exist uniformly across the country. Only a few states had statewide voter registration systems, and they weren't well connected with, let's say, the health department or the coroners, the vital statistics, or the driver's licenses, and so you had a lot of counties that weren't even communicating with the other counties. So basically, with the 8,000 counties or jurisdictions, everybody was doing their own thing and not really communicating. And now we think that can bring a lot of problems. And so when they did develop the Help America Vote Act, they actually had registration requirements at the state level to create databases. So the states could communicate with each other and with the state, and there would be state institutions that would provide data and try to make sure our voter lists were, there was verification, and there was electronic list maintenance going on for deaths and that sort of thing. And folks, don't really remember that, but that was a huge lift across the country. And one of the big things that happened with the Help America Vote Act, it also created what we call provisional ballots, where, because of some of the problems with data, someone would show up at a polling place and not be in the right polling place. Um, they may not even be registered, but they think they're registered. Well, what we found is that sometimes after a little bit of research, you'll find that the individual was properly registered, or you'll find that they weren't. But the Help America Vote Act allowed there to be what we call a provisional ballot, where a voter could vote the ballot, and then the election official would go back and research this. Now, again, this was sort of handled differently around the country, but this was sort of something that we provided guidance on, and it was implemented. And it really was a fail-safe ballot that voters could vote a ballot if they really felt that they were properly registered. And then the election official could go back and investigate to see if that was true and to see if there was evidence of that. And if there was, the ballot would count.
So our next episode, episode 3, was Filing Day 2025, and I love Filing Day. It's like a little celebration here in our office.
It is.
It's so cool getting to see these candidates who are just so excited about running and getting to serve their community. So it's really cool.
Right. It's amazing to watch people who give to the system.
Yeah.
And expect nothing in return.
Absolutely.
You know?
And most of these people already have full-time jobs and
Right.
their families, and they decide to serve because they want to serve their community and make their community a better place, and that's amazing to me.
Yeah, Filing Day is special.
Yeah, I actually got to see my French teacher. She was,
Oh, is that right?
yeah, she was running for school board for
Why
Las
did you
Cruces.
take French?
I don't know. I don't remember anything. So I remember how to count to like 10 maybe, but I hope I didn't disappoint her. But it was cool getting to see her, and I know her daughter as well. So it was cool getting to see people from our community come in and file for election day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff. So we'll go ahead and share a clip from that episode right here.
My name is Tommy Black, or AKA DJ Black. I'm running for the City Council of Las Cruces, District Number 6.
Awesome. And why are you running? Why do you think it's important?
I think it's so important right now because personally I feel like the direction that Las Cruces is going is not very kid-friendly. We're not getting the future ready for our kids, so I want to go in and be the advocate for the youth in this town. Also, I want to be the advocate for the veterans in this town. And last but definitely not least, I want to be the advocate for the small businesses in the town.
Millie Sandoval. I'm running for District 1 for the city of Sunland Park.
Awesome. And why are you running?
I'm running because I want to be the voice of my community and make a difference.
So our next episode was Holding History in Our Hands, a very special episode about the historical boxes that have finally been opened and discussed and discovered. We had 2 guests from that one. We had Angelica Valenzuela, our recording and filing supervisor, and then we also had Julie, the document technician from Bureau of Elections. She helped us out with this project, and I thank her so much for coming on because she was really nervous about it. She did a great job.
She did.
She did.
She loves her history.
She does love her history. She's one of us at heart.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So we brought out some highlights of the boxes and enjoyed them and shared them with you, and it was great.
Yeah, and one of the documents that we got to highlight on that episode was the Pat Garrett coroner's report, right?
Yes,
So,
isn't that wild?
yes, and it was really cool getting to hear Angelica talk about how that document was discovered.
Just serendipity.
Yeah.
Just open
Just
a box.
here, let's look at
Yeah.
this one. Oh, wow.
That was amazing.
Yeah, so
That was amazing.
amazing stuff, and we'll go ahead and share a clip from that one as well.
So one of the docs that we found in the beginning of the project, going through them, was Pat Garrett's coroner's report.
Right, that's so cool.
That is so amazing.
I know. It was
That
really
is really
fun
cool.
because I had just taken a box and I'm sitting in my office working on it. And again, it was in the beginning, so we were all very excited about the project. And one of the staff come into my office and they're like, "What are you working on today?" Or what's in your box? And so I said, "Oh, this one's really cool. There's a bunch of coroner's reports." I said, "Watch, hard to explain. Let's read one together." And I just pulled one out randomly. And she came behind and we read it together and we both looked at each other, jaws dropped, and we're like, "Oh, it's Pat Garrett." And so that was super, super neat. And kind of the name of the project that we gave it was Holding History in Our Hands.
Oh, I love that.
Because that's what we're doing.
Right.
And it came from finding that document.
Episode 5, we had Troy Ainsworth, very knowledgeable. Love having him on. He's a wonderful speaker and historian. And he talked about the Las Cruces floods.
Yeah.
And that was quite an episode. We had some graphics. We had some pictures of the city at that time.
Yeah.
It was something else. Never before recorded this amount of rain on the city. And who would think there's a flood zone in a desert?
Who would have thought? And
Right.
I love having Troy on here. He's always so knowledgeable and he's so passionate about what he talks about. So I can't wait to have him hopefully for next season.
Yes, hint, hint.
He
Troy,
loves
if you're
coming on
listening.
here. So come on, Troy, come on again. But that was a great episode.
Here's a clip from that episode.
Okay, August 31, 1935, the Albuquerque Journal. And ironically, of course, there is no edition on that day of the Las Cruces.
I looked and looked.
It does not exist
Right.
Yeah.
because the printing press was standing in about 4 foot of water. Downtown Las Cruces was really devastated. So on this page, in particular, this is where the world became aware of what had happened. Here's basically the chronology. Around 11 p.m. on Thursday evening, so 2 days earlier, around 11 p.m., rain begins to fall in the valley. At around 1 p.m., that storm really picks up intensity and does not stop until around 7 on Friday morning. There is a break in the rain, and it begins to pick back up around 10, 11 o'clock. Does not rain very much. However, it's estimated that about 6.5 inches of rain fell in about in that 6-hour stretch of time.
Right.
So you had a little bit before and you have a little bit after. So let's bump that up perhaps another 3/4 to an inch of precipitation. In this instance, it's not necessarily the river that is causing the flooding damage. It's the Oregon Mountains. All of that water is cascading and flowing off of the western slope. And again, Cruces is in a low point.
So next is episode 6, and that was the Stamen Farms featuring Dr. Blanca Araujo, and she was amazing. She talked about her experiences growing up on Stamen Farms, which is right behind you.
Yes, we have a beautiful picture from Stamen Farms, thanks to Jacob.
Yes, I think that was an awesome episode as well.
That was, I mean, can you imagine growing up there and the fun they had?
Yeah, she was talking about so many cool experiences that they had, and her siblings were there as well. She made so many friends. It was like a little community there. She went to school there, and you know, they had so many different things that were just right there on the farm.
And quite a giving boss.
Yeah.
I mean, what a special man he was.
Absolutely. He would throw parties for them. If there was like a baby coming, he would do baby showers. They had weddings over there, which is pretty incredible.
Right.
So it was awesome getting to hear that firsthand experience.
And
from Dr.
financial
Blanca.
support, too. He
Yeah.
helped them with loans and things that they wanted to buy and cars and such. But what a great episode we had with her on as our guest.
I loved it. And I think it was cool that we got to hear like a little connection between Caroline and her
Yes.
as well. That was really awesome to hear.
There's always a connection with Caroline.
Yeah, Caroline knows everybody and her family knows everybody, which
Yes.
is cool. It makes this even more fun.
Very
So,
small world here. I love it.
absolutely. So we'll go ahead and share a clip from that here.
I do want us to jump into what life was like at Stamen Farms when you were growing up.
Oh, it was fabulous.
Yeah?
Yes, it was like, for being a kid, we were outside all the time. We had different communities, they called them ranchos, and we had friends all over the ranch. We would go on our bikes. We had a tree house. We would choose trees to be our own trees and take care of them. We played kickball, so we were like literally outside every day, all the time. And we always got to see our families out working in the fields or in the sorters, or our moms dressed as palomas with the white uniforms going to work, coming home. We had housing. Mr. Stamen provided housing for us, so we didn't have to pay rent, which was great.
That is great.
Yeah, so it was a wonderful way to grow up.
There were like the ranchos were like small communities of the workers. There was even, like a small grocery store.
Yes.
There was, and so it was like there were the like the ranchos, and there were like a certain group of families, and they worked this portion of the farm. That other rancho were those families, and they worked that portion of the farm. And Mr. Stamen treated his workers really well and the families really well.
Yes. Yeah. Some people say there was 11 ranchos. Some people say 13. So it's in between 11 and 13. But each rancho had a foreman who would take care of that community. So the people who lived in those houses, he was responsible for the families, the housing, all that stuff. The houses had plumbers, they had electricians, if anything happened in the house, you would call them and they would send the person to take care of it. Mr. Stallman had a company store. He had a medical clinic. There was a doctor who would come and look at and visit the people who were sick. So yes, he had all kinds of stuff for the workers, and the workers really took good care of him because he took good care of us as well.
That's awesome. So episode 7 was another election update, and we had a lot of election episodes, kind of just to inform our community about the election. So
Very
we won't
important
show a
to
clip
do.
on that one, but we'll have some more election update episodes on here as well.
And then episode 8 was the love story. The Santanas joined us.
So fun.
That was such fun.
I loved it.
And what a beautiful story they had.
Yes, it was so cute.
What a lovely couple.
I love the proposal story, how like they went to the jewelry store at La Posta first. And then she thought, oh, he bought me some jewelry from there. But it was her engagement ring.
Right.
How cool.
Right.
They were so sweet.
They're very kind to each other, and you
Yes.
just feel the love when you're in their presence. It's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. And then they talked about the process of getting their marriage license, which was pretty cool. And I just went through that experience as well and got
Yay.
married. So it was really fun getting to hear their love story. And we'll show a clip of that as well.
Right.
And I guess we have to fast forward a little bit because you didn't tell, I think, the best part of the story. The best part of the story was when we were walking into La Posta. My favorite jewelry store is Mateo's. Every time I go into La Posta, I absolutely need to go into Mateo's. And so he wanted to go into Mateo's, and I said, no, I cannot go in there right now. And like that day, I was like, no, don't bring me in there. I don't trust myself. And he goes, well, if you don't want to, I want to, because he saw these beautiful earrings in the window. Because I want to ask about those earrings. So we went in and asked the lady. He said, I want to see those. Are those blue topaz? I'm thinking in my head, what is he asking for blue topaz? That's crazy. But it was one of those things that, he said, do you have anything else? And so she brings 3 different pairs of blue topaz earrings. Wow. He's like, which one do you like? I was like, I mean, I like these ones the best, but who are you buying these earrings for? And he's like, you, of course. And I was like, why are you buying me blue topaz earrings? I said, it's right before Thanksgiving, the holidays. Yeah. I said, we are wrapping these up and they're going underneath the tree from Santa. Yeah. And he was like, whatever you want, dear. Well, there was this exchange that I did not see when he's like, let me take you outside, sales associate, kind lady. And he had a quick conversation with her and gave her said ring that I didn't even know he was carrying into the restaurant. And it was one of these like weird, and the other sales associate so kindly distracted me. And so it was just one of these things. So I thought it was the earrings when I saw this little box on the plate, and I was like, what are the earrings? Oh my goodness.
Wait, is that something else?
Yes. And it was just like that. I think if you were videotaping me, it would have just been that. And I turned and he was on his knee. Oh. And then the rest of the kind people at the bar all applauded, and the bartenders were wonderful, and it was just it was a really I have matching earrings to my blue topaz. That's
an awesome story, though. You got earrings and a ring, so
yes,
you can't beat
that.
Spoiled.
So their next episode, episode 9, was about the Archives Bazaar. The Borderland holds this event at the Farm and Ranch Museum, and it is an annual event, and Dennis Daly correlates the whole thing and coordinates the whole thing. And it was wonderful, and we got to bring some of our historical boxes with us to the event.
Yeah. How fun. You got to go to the Border Regional Archives.
I did.
I didn't get to go this time, but was it amazing like always?
It was amazing, and I know you were busy getting married, so you're excused.
Maybe next time. Cool.
It was amazing. There was beautiful archives from a variety of sources.
Yeah.
And it just was a very special day out.
Yeah.
And we, of course, donated our historical documents for others to view and enjoy as well. We had a woman who we had the laptop out, and she looked up her parents' marriage license, and it brought tears to her eyes. It was such a beautiful, sentimental moment for her, and we got to share with that.
I don't think you realize how important those like documents are until it's something like a family who's passed away that you get to see their marriage license or a deed for their first home. It's so cool to get to see those things, and I wish I would have been there. How fun.
It was fun.
So we'll share a clip from that episode with Jennifer Olguin and Dennis Staley. Can you go ahead and kind of talk about the Archives Bazaar?
Sure. So there's an organization called the Border Regional Archives Group, and we are people who work with archival materials, like you all are participants in this. People who work with archival materials, whether it be in a library or an archive or a government office or a church or a historical society, etc., a museum. There are archives all over, and there are people who work with these archival materials. And so we put this group together, the Border Regional Archives Group, and it's people in those kinds of organizations in the border region. So it's primarily El Paso, and it started out primarily as El Paso and Las Cruces. It was NMSU and UTEP that kind of got the thing going. But it's really branched out from there, and now we say West Texas, all of southern New Mexico. So we have people from Silver City, from Portales. We have people from Alpine, Texas, and this year we're being joined by some folks from Texas Tech University up in Lubbock. So, and the purpose of the group is to promote archives in the community so people understand what archives are and the importance of preserving archival records. And also it's a way for us within the group to sort of interact and get to know each other.
That's the fun part.
That is the fun part. It is very fun. And importantly, to know what the other collections in the region are, because we don't have everything in our archive. You all don't have everything in your archive. No archive has everything. Okay. But if we know what everybody else kind of has, then we're more able to help researchers. And that ultimately is what we're in the business for, is to help researchers find information that they're looking for. So that's the Border Regional Archives Group. And then when we got this thing going again in about 2016, one of the things we decided we wanted to try to do is put on an archives bazaar. That is a event for the public where we would all bring materials from our collections out, display them, talk about them, and have people come through. These archive bazaars are kind of started in the early 2000s, and Austin, Texas has a big archives bazaar. Southern California, Los Angeles area has a big archives bazaar. Now they're kind of all over the country. So that was kind of our model, was to promote archives and inform people about what archives are and what archivists do in our relationship to preserving history.
Alrighty, so episode 10 touched on expanded early voting, and like I said, we had so many episodes about elections, so we'll kind of wrap them all into one at the end of this episode. Episode 11 was De-Escalating Conflict at the Polls, featuring Tina Barton, and that was so much fun to get to do that episode. That one was with Janice Giron and our Chief Deputy Clerk, Caroline Zamora, and Tina Barton, which she works for the elections group, and she does some incredible things over there as well. But it was a great episode because she talks about her experiences with, she used to be a clerk, I believe, in Michigan, and she went through a personal experience where somebody was very, just gave her threats, unfortunately. And
wow.
Just did some terrible things and left her a terrible voicemail. And I think we played that during one of our other episodes. But it was great to hear what she's done with that since that happened. And the training that she does for people on how to de-escalate conflict. Because our poll workers need it in this kind of environment.
Yes, it happens for sure.
Unfortunately. So
yeah,
she shared her personal experiences and kind of talked about ways to de-escalate at the polls. So we'll
excellent
go ahead and
topic.
share that clip too.
Right.
Well, I mean, with the Committee for Safe and Secure Elections, when we started a few years ago, it's been like 3.5 years ago now, really our initial investment was let's bring law enforcement to the table for them to see and understand really what it is that election officials are dealing with, right? After 2020, they had a lot going too in the law enforcement profession. I see it again. My husband's law enforcement. I know most of them are very much like the election officials, where they're understaffed, they're under-resourced, they're underpaid, and right now they're under attack. And so it was bringing them to the table. So let's talk about how we keep you safe, how we keep our poll workers safe, and how we keep the polls safe, right? And so we really kind of focused those first couple years on doing that, and putting together whatever resources that we could. But the one thing that we have seen is that this culture of verbal attack and harassment and threats is continuing. We've seen a ton of political violence in our country in just the last year. People have assassination attempts. We've seen, state representatives who have been shot. We've seen governors' homes set on fire. I mean, it's been intense, right? And to see that kind of culture is still existing, knowing that our frontline workers, our poll workers, are also facing this. I mean, we, obviously had been pretty focused on our election officials, but knowing too that those people that we really need to make democracy work, those 74-year-old retirees who are coming in there and manning that polling location all day long, we need them to be safe too, and we need them to have tools. And so one of the classes that we have been teaching is a de-escalation course, and just so that when people come in either to your office and they're meeting you at the counter, they're meeting you at the door, wherever it might be, or they're coming to your frontline workers, maybe they're upset with government in general. Maybe they're working through something personally and taking it out on you, whatever it might be. Just teaching you ways that we can help you de-escalate situations, to also calm people down in the moment, to help them have a positive outcome at the end of the day, and to see what it is that we can do. And so one of the things I really love about the de-escalation course that we teach is it's not just about like, use this word and not that word. It's not just about stand this way or not that way. It's more like, let's understand what's going on with you physically when you feel attacked.
And then our next episode, episode 12, was with guest Christopher Schertz. And he came to talk about one of my favorite topics, Shalem Colony.
Yeah.
I love that topic. It is such a cool, freaky, fun topic that just hits upon so many things.
Yeah.
And it's such interesting that these folks came from the East Coast to our little place here.
Yeah.
Kind of just like me. And started a new life.
At least you came here with a plan, though. It kind of seemed like
come
they
with a
came
plan.
here without a plan and kind of, yeah.
It was a vision.
It was a vision.
It was a vision.
But it kind of just went downhill
Fizzled
fast.
out.
Yeah.
Fizzled out.
But it was a
happens
great
to the best of us.
episode.
Yeah, just amazing that he found more historical pictures and so forth.
Yeah, it was great.
So.
I think it's one of my favorite topics as well, because we had touched on it before in one of our first seasons.
Right.
And it was just such a complex topic. And it's one of our most popular episodes that we've had so far.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, that's great.
We had a lot of comments on it, and people are interested to hear about it. And it's crazy because I didn't even know about this until we started doing this podcast.
Right.
I had no idea that there was this kind of group that came here and tried to save kids, and they did some interesting stuff.
It has everything in it. Everything. Religion.
Yeah.
And
visions
ghosts. And ghosts and saving children, and Doña Anna came into play with
flooding
the workers.
Too.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy stuff, and I love that episode. I love that topic.
That's very cool. Jacob is telling me that it went to #1. So,
wow.
Yeah, that's our special one, I guess.
Fantastic.
Everybody loves it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and share a clip of that episode right here.
The purpose of the colony is to adopt babies, unwanted babies, maybe orphan babies or just abandoned babies, let's say, and raise them under the principles of of this new religion. And this is partly in response to the high number of unwanted babies and children that they had seen in New York City and these big cities. As industrialism comes in and we have this, the new urban environments, and you have all of these unwanted babies and stuff. And it becomes a bit of a thing. And so they're sort of trying to respond to that. And that's part of what's going on here. So the goal is to gather up the babies, the unwanted babies, and bring them to this new utopian settlement and raise them from babies to up. This was felt, as I said, the adults are already too far gone. They're already corrupted, but we need to start with the babies.
They wanted to give them this new religion.
Sure, start them from here, and it's kind of like the ground zero kind of thing of idea. Let's start, start them anew.
Right. So episode 13 was another election update, and like I said, we'll go ahead and kind of put those all into the last topic that we do. Do you want to hit on episode 14?
Episode 14.
Yes.
Whew, this was a heavy one for me in terms of research. Absolutely. It's the Converso Legacy with Sean Scifano, and it really opened up a topic I didn't know existed.
Yeah, me neither.
It was the hidden history of the Conversos, the descendants of Jews who were forced to convert to Christianity during the Spanish and Portuguese Inquisitions. And I have a new daughter-in-law who is Jewish, and she has some Spanish heritage in her, and this was of really personal importance to me.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah,
has she heard the episode yet?
She has heard the episode, yeah.
That's awesome.
And she was really proud of her heritage. Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, it was great.
I think it's one of those episodes where we obviously don't really have documents from that time because it was such a long time ago, but it was great to have Sean talk about it. He's so knowledgeable on this topic.
Goodness.
This man he knows so much about it.
He's personable. And he's knowledgeable, and he's passionate, is right. Yeah.
So.
He found out his heritage, too.
Yeah.
Included some of that, which is very cool.
That's pretty cool. I can't imagine just, really not knowing that that's a part of your history.
Right.
So, I mean, I understand why he's passionate about it. It's really amazing.
Yes.
So, that was a great episode.
Yeah, the Conversos were a topic that really interested a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because it was such an unknown. It was hidden, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'll show a clip of that now.
The social unit for thinking about these kinship networks is really just that. It's kinship. It is above all who you know and where the people you know came from. So if you're part of a population who all came from the Iberian Peninsula and you all knew that 2 generations back your ancestors moved to wherever you are now, say from Portugal,
right?
Then what you know is that you share a language, you share a genealogy, and, this is important, religiously, you share an outcast status, even if you converted, because there is another mechanism at work in shaping what Judaism and what a Jew is in this time, and that is the concept of limpieza de sangre. I should say the policy of limpieza de sangre, the purity of blood laws, which are established for the express purpose of distinguishing between those individuals who had Christian stock without undergoing conversion,
right,
and those who did undergo conversion. So this would include not only Jews, but also Muslims, because we have to remember that the end of the Reconquista also involves the conquest of Granada. And the fall of Granada means that you have an enormous influx into your kingdom's boundaries of Muslims who also have to be dealt with.
Right.
So the social unit for marking out who knows whom and who is, in some sense, either a Jew or a Jewish adjacent person, a one-of-us person, comes to be a unit called the Nação, or the Nación, the nation.
So episode 15 was Las Esperanzas, featuring Corina Miramontes and Martha Rodriguez. And these women are just so knowledgeable about the Mesquite Historical District, and they're so passionate about just kind of bringing that history back to life there, because it was the first, first town site, right, for Las Cruces.
Right, it sure was.
So there's a lot of incredible things in that district, and they are part of so many projects that are focused on bringing that back to life and sharing the history of it. There's so much history.
They're amazing women, and they have a goal.
Absolutely.
And their goal is so beautiful because it is we're history nuts here, so
Yes.
we love our history.
We love other history nuts.
Yeah,
They're so fun.
we do.
Yes.
So here's a clip of that episode. I was telling Karina that about 3 years ago I moved from New York.
Oh.
And I was driving past the Jardín every day and looking and driving and looking and driving and saying, what is that? Can you tell us about that? Beautiful artwork there.
Yeah, it sounds like, super recently, and that Antonio Lujan had some influence on creating this. I believe that there was like a want to have gateways into the neighborhood. And in the gateway to the north, they just really wanted to celebrate also some of the families that had done so much for the neighborhood. And Las Esperanzas advocated for capital outlay funds over the years for improvements on projects through the neighborhood. And I believe that was one of the projects. It's located on the corner of Spruce and San Pedro, and it depicts photos of families from the neighborhood. And these photos tell the story of the families from the neighborhood, such as there's a photo of Sylvia Camunes in her wedding gown.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, being paraded in the neighborhood, which I heard was an old, tradition. The young brides that were going to be married were paraded through the neighborhood.
How
So
sweet
that
is
was
that?
That's really neat capturing
Yeah.
that. And the tiles were all done by the students at the school that Irene Oliver Lewis started.
Wow.
De Arte. So all the kids from the art school are the ones that did,
That's
the artwork.
amazing. Yeah. Then episode 16 was with Joel Gonzalez Parra. He talked about the repatriate colonies. Borders changed. People were encouraged to go to one side or the other, the United States or Mexico,
Right.
or our territory, I guess, at that time. And it reshaped the communities. It's such a mind-boggling moment in time. I loved hearing him talk about it.
Absolutely. I was behind cameras for this episode, but it was really cool just getting to hear so much history of, I think I always thought to myself growing up here, this used to be Mexican territory.
Right.
So what happened? Did people have to choose between one or the other? Did everyone just kind of, colonize to here to what they thought American citizenship was like? And no, it wasn't an American territory yet, but it's just crazy to hear how things changed so rapidly.
So rapidly. The river changes and
Yes.
borders change. And
That's a lot of change for one
that's-
person.
Yes.
So it's kind of crazy getting to hear.
And it's a relatively small area that
It
we were
is.
talking about.
Yeah.
In the bigger picture of things. So let's show a clip from that.
Can you talk more about New Mexico's, New Mexico's role in the Mexican-American War, including outcomes and what decisions were made on both sides regarding colonies?
New Mexico has a really interesting position because after Mexico gains independence in 1821, Spain usually had restrictions on trade. Spanish territories couldn't trade freely with other nations. Mexico gains independence, decides that they want to get rid of that rule, of that law. So now New Mexico is in a position where they find themselves a little bit closer to the United States, and there's more trade taking place in that area. So Mexico is trying to bring New Mexico into the fold of this broader Mexican culture, what a lot of people at the time, a lot of politicians at the time referred to the Mexican family. But during the Mexican period, which is from 1821 to 1848, we see that many people in New Mexico, it's growing closer to the United States because of the Santa Fe Trail, where they find it easier to buy and sell products that they can get in the territory from the Americans and not from Mexico. Actually, just in the years previous to the war, it is estimated that 70% of New Mexico's territorial budget came from money obtained with through commerce with the Americans. So by the time that the war takes place, you'll find different groups of New Mexican people having very different opinions on whether this invasion and annexation to the United States will be beneficial or not for their interests.
So our last episode, episode 17, was a regular local election recap. We had an election on November 4th, and it was the regular local election, which is city council, school boards. Amanda, Janice, and Caroline kind of recapped the whole election. They talk about the process and what happens after the election.
Oh, that's good to know what happens after. It's not just
okay, election's
event.
Done.
Yep.
There's so much that goes on behind elections and the process afterwards. We have to make sure all our T's are crossed and I's are dotted and everything is, matches the numbers, and all the results are certified. And they were certified by the county commissioners a few weeks ago, and then certified by the state last week. So, I would say probably 2 weeks ago from this episode, but there's a lot that goes into elections. And I love that Amanda and Janice and Caroline kind of deep dive into all those processes. Pretty great.
It's about transparency.
Absolutely. And I think that's so important when you're a voter. You want to know what's going on with your vote. So And we'll share a clip from that episode right here.
This year we had a really great regular local election this year. We had really great turnout, 18.77% turnout. About 4,000 more ballots were cast this regular local election than in 2023, for a total of 26,574 ballots cast this regular local election. Now, to compare it to the 2023 regular local election, that was 22,458 ballots that were cast that last election. So we had, again, it seems like a small percentage because it's like 0.3, what is that? 0.38, something like that, percentage difference. But it's about 4,000 more people voted.
Well, and that means there's more people that have registered. That means we had more of a base to pull those numbers from than we had in 2023. We also know that absentee was a huge factor. Think about it. Regular local elections. Some of you all who are regular voters were like, is there an election? I'm like, every November, like clockwork, there's an election. But those of you who signed up for that permanent absentee list, you may not have voted in a regular local election, but you had that ballot sitting on your kitchen table that you asked to be on a list for, and you ended up voting. And we are thrilled that you did, and we are really, really looking forward to increased turnout with this permanent absentee list.
Well, that kind of does it for all the all the episodes, I should say, for this season. It was a great season.
Another great season, and I want to thank our listeners and our viewers who tune in and give us all the support and the incentive to just keep going and do better every season. It's an amazing feeling when we see those folks enjoying our history and our elections and what we do here at the clerk's office.
This is one of my favorite parts of the job. I think we get to kind of, this is a part that we get to kind of just have fun a little bit more and just talk to so many people in our community, from election people to just historians here in our county. And it's a great thing. I love doing this. So I'm so grateful for all our listeners. And I love getting to hear comments on our videos about these episodes. It's really cool getting to hear what people have to say, and some people have personal knowledge on it too because they know somebody from that had firsthand experience with that topic or whatever. So it's really cool to connect with our community in that way.
It is. It is.
So grateful.
So we love the comments. So give us something to talk about here. And if you have an idea for a podcast, please bring it to us. Write to us or call us and reach out to us in one way or another, and you could be a guest.
Absolutely. That would be great to have some more people from our community as guests. So
if you have a story, we want to know it.
Absolutely. So thanks again for watching this episode of Preserving History and Democracy. My name is Cynthia Mendoza, Communications Coordinator, and I am joined by Bernardine Caporal, our producer extraordinaire. Behind cameras, we have Jacob Slaughter, who does all the camera work, editing, all that amazing stuff. I want to thank Caroline Zamora as well, our Chief Deputy Clerk, our Clerk, Amanda López Askin, and our Election Supervisor, Janice. She did a lot of episodes with us. I want to thank all our guests that joined us as well, and watch out for Season 6. We're excited.
It's coming.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.